One sunny morning, Maya and Ben walked to school together. As they passed by Mrs. Baker's shop, they noticed something odd. The sign above the shop, which usually read bakery, now just said B, rye. Ben, do you see that? Maya asked, pointing to the sign. Yeah, it's like someone erased the letters, Ben replied, puzzled. At school, their teacher, Mrs. Green, was trying to explain something about history, but she kept pausing, struggling to find the right words. In 1776, the Declaration of, dependence? No, that's not it. Independence, Maya whispered to herself, confused by what was happening. By the end of the day, everyone in Wordville seemed to be forgetting words. It wasn't just big words. It was simple ones, too. Maya and Ben decided to visit Mr. Lexicon. If anyone could explain this strange phenomenon, it was him. They knocked on the door of the Word Wizard's tower. After a few moments, the door creaked open, and Mr. Lexicon appeared. Ah, Maya and Ben. What brings you here today? He asked, his voice deep and calm. Mr. Lexicon, something weird is happening. People are forgetting words, Maya exclaimed. The old wizard stroked his long beard thoughtfully. Forgetting words, you say? That is serious indeed. Come in, children. Inside the tower, the walls were lined with shelves of glowing books. A large crystal ball sat in the center of the room, and papers with scribbled notes covered the tables. Mr. Lexicon explained, Words are powerful. They are the building blocks of communication, stories, and knowledge. If people are forgetting them, it could mean someone, or something, is stealing them. Stealing words? Who would do that? Ben asked. Mr. Lexicon opened a large, dusty book titled The Legend of Lost Words. Long ago, there was a creature called the Word Thief. It fed on forgotten words and grew stronger each time someone forgot one. I thought it was just a myth, but perhaps it has returned. Maya and Ben decided to help Mr. Lexicon stop the word thief. He gave them a magical notebook and pen. Write down any new words you learned during your journey, he instructed. The notebook will help you remember them and give you clues to defeat the word thief. Their first clue came from the crystal ball. It showed an image of the old library at the edge of town. The word thief loves dark and quiet places, Mr. Lexicon said. You might find answers there. Maya and Ben set off for the library, feeling both excited and nervous. The streets of Wordville seemed eerily quiet. Signs were missing letters, conversations were filled with pauses, and even the birds seemed to chirp less. The library was dimly lit and filled with rows of dusty books. At the far end, they found a locked door with strange symbols carved into it. Look, Maya! Ben pointed to the symbols. They look like letters, but they're scrambled. Maya studied them carefully. It's an anagram. If we rearrange the letters, it spells knowledge. As she said the word, the door creaked open. Inside, they found a book glowing faintly. Maya picked it up and read aloud. To find the word thief, one must first learn the value of words. Begin with these: perseverance, curiosity, and imagination. Write them down, understand their meaning, and use them in your quest. Maya and Ben wrote the words in their magical notebook. 1. Perseverance, never giving up even when things are difficult. 2. Curiosity, wanting to learn or know more about something. 3. Imagination, the ability to create ideas or pictures in your mind. Perseverance, curiosity, and imagination, Maya repeated. These are important words. If we remember them, they'll help us. The notebook glowed, and a new clue appeared. Find the tree of synonyms in the Whispering Woods. Maya and Ben left the library, determined to continue their quest. As they walked, they practiced using the new words they had learned. I think we will need perseverance to solve this mystery, Maya said. And curiosity to keep looking for clues, Ben added. And imagination to figure out tricky puzzles. Maya finished, smiling. They reached the edge of the Whispering Woods as the sun began to set, the trees casting long shadows. Somewhere deep inside, the tree of synonyms waited for them. Maya and Ben stood at the edge of the Whispering Woods, staring into the dense forest. The trees swayed gently, as if whispering secrets to each other. A narrow path disappeared into the shadows. I didn't know trees could whisper, Ben said nervously. They can hear, Maya replied. This is Wordville, remember? Everything has something to do with words. Ben nodded, though he didn't seem entirely convinced. As they stepped into the forest, the air around them felt different, thicker, as if filled with invisible words hanging in the air. Each step they took seemed to echo softly with faint whispers. Do you hear that? Maya asked. Ben nodded. Yeah, it's like the trees are talking. Maya stopped walking and listened closely. Listen carefully. I think they're repeating words. Sure enough, the trees whispered words softly. Happy, joyful, content. They're synonyms, Maya realized. These trees are called the tree of synonyms because they group words that mean the same thing. That's actually kind of cool, Ben admitted. As they continued along the path, a tall, leafy tree with silver bark stood before them. Unlike the others, it shimmered faintly in the fading light. Beneath it sat a small figure wearing a green cloak. Welcome, travelers, the figure said in a soft but clear voice. It was an elderly woman with bright eyes that seemed to sparkle with knowledge. I am the guardian of the tree of synonyms. What brings you here? Maya stepped forward. We're trying to stop the word thief. Mr. Lexicon told us to find this tree. He said it might help us. The guardian nodded. The word thief thrives on confusion and forgetfulness. Learning synonyms will strengthen your vocabulary and weaken his power. To continue your journey, you must complete a challenge. Ben groaned. A challenge? I was afraid of that. The guardian smiled. Don't worry. This will help you learn new words. Let's begin. The guardian waved her hand, and 3 floating words appeared in the air. Fast, smart, and strong. Your task, the guardian explained, is to match each word with 3 synonyms. Think carefully. Maya looked at the words and whispered to Ben. Okay, let's think. Fast could mean quick or speedy. Ben grinned. Or rapid. Maya nodded. Good one. Now for smart. How about intelligent? Ben thought for a moment. Maybe clever or bright? Perfect. And for strong, we could use powerful, tough, or sturdy. They wrote down the words in their magical notebook. Fast, quick, speedy, rapid. Smart, intelligent, clever, bright. Strong, powerful, tough, sturdy. As soon as they finished, the guardian smiled. Well done. By learning synonyms, you make your vocabulary richer. Words are like tools. The more you know, the stronger your communication becomes. The tree of synonyms rustled gently, and a single golden leaf floated down into Maya's hands. Written on the leaf were the words, to weaken the word thief's hold, visit the Valley of Opposites. The Valley of Opposites? Ben asked. That sounds tricky. The guardian handed them a small lantern. This will guide you. The valley lies beyond these woods, but beware. Confusion lurks there. You must master antonyms to proceed. Maya tucked the golden leaf into her notebook. Thank you, guardian. We will be careful. As they left the whispering woods, the sun dipped below the horizon. The lantern glowed softly, lighting their way. Maya flipped through the notebook, reading the new words they had learned aloud. Fast, quick, rapid, smart, clever, bright, strong, powerful, sturdy, she repeated. I feel like we're learning a lot. Yeah, Ben agreed. But I still don't get how this stops the word thief. Maya thought for a moment. I think Mr. Lexicon wanted us to strengthen our vocabulary because words are like magic in Wordville. The more words we know, the harder it will be for the word thief to erase them. Soon, they arrived at the Valley of Opposites. It was a strange place. Half of the valley was bright and sunny, while the other half was dark and shadowy. In the center stood 2 stone pillars, each with a word carved into it. One read hot and the other cold. Ben scratched his head. I guess this is about antonyms, words that mean the opposite of each other. Maya nodded. It's like the opposite of the tree of synonyms, the puzzle of opposites. A voice echoed from the stone pillars. To pass, speak the opposites. Big, happy, light, easy, fast. Maya and Ben exchanged a look and began. Big, small, happy, sad, light, dark, easy, difficult, fast, slow. The pillars rumbled and slowly slid apart, revealing a narrow path leading further into the valley. That wasn't so bad, Ben said, relieved. As they walked deeper into the valley, they saw something strange, a shadowy figure darting between trees. Maya, did you see that? Ben whispered. Maya tightened her grip on the notebook. I think it might be the word thief. They followed quietly, trying not to make a sound. The shadow led them to an ancient bridge at the far end of the valley. On the other side lay a small, glowing hut. That must be where the word thief lives, Maya whispered. Ben gulped. Are we really going to confront him? Maya nodded. We have to. But first, we need to learn more words. Let's keep going. Maya and Ben stood at the edge of the ancient bridge, staring at the glowing hut in the distance. The shadowy figure they suspected to be the word thief had disappeared inside. The bridge, old and covered in moss, stretched across a misty river. Strange symbols were carved into the stone beneath their feet. Ben shifted nervously. This bridge doesn't look very sturdy. Are we sure we want to cross it? Maya opened the magical notebook, flipping through the pages they had filled with new words. We have come this far. We can't stop now. Suddenly, the symbols on the bridge began to glow. A deep voice echoed from the stone. To cross, solve the puzzle of words. Answer incorrectly, and the bridge will vanish beneath your feet. Ben's eyes widened. No pressure, the glowing symbols rearranged into 5 words. Kind, bright, large, brave, quiet. The voice boomed again. Give me the opposites of these words to pass. Maya tapped her chin thoughtfully. All right, we can do this. Let's think carefully. They began to solve the puzzle. Kind, mean, bright, dim, large, small, brave, afraid, quiet, loud. As they spoke each opposite, the stones of the bridge lit up, forming a solid path forward. Ben sighed in relief. That wasn't too bad. I was ready to swim. Maya laughed. Good thing we didn't have to. The bridge allowed them to cross safely, and as they stepped onto the other side, the mist cleared to reveal a small, forgotten village. The village felt strange. Buildings were covered in ivy, and the streets were empty. Signs hung above old shops, but most of the letters had faded or disappeared. Ben squinted at one of the signs. L. B. A. R. Library? Maya nodded. Yes. This must be the village of forgotten words. I think the word thief has been here for a long time. They wandered deeper into the village, passing buildings labeled S. H. L. School, and M. S. U. M. Museum. As they explored, they spotted an elderly man sitting alone on a bench, scribbling in a notebook. He looked up and smiled. Welcome, travelers, he greeted. I am Professor Wordsmith. Not many visitors come here these days. Maya and Ben approached cautiously. We're trying to stop the word thief, Maya explained. Mr. Lexicon sent us to learn new words and strengthen our vocabulary. Professor Wordsmith's eyes lit up. Ah, Mr. Lexicon, a wise man. The word thief feeds on forgotten words. That's why this village is so empty. People who forget their words lose pieces of their world. Ben frowned. How do we stop him? Professor Wordsmith pointed to an old fountain in the center of the village. By restoring words. The fountain holds the power to return forgotten words if you can remember them. I can give you clues to help, but you must solve the riddles yourself. They gathered around the fountain, where an inscription read, I am tall when I'm young and short when I'm old. What am I? Ben scratched his head. That's a tricky one. Maya thought for a moment. I've heard this riddle before. The answer is a candle. As soon as she said the word, the fountain shimmered, and a bright light filled the village. The letters on the L, B, A, R sign reappeared, fully spelling out library. Professor Wordsmith smiled. Correct. Each riddle restores a piece of the village. They continued with more riddles. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Ben's eyes lit up. An echo. The letters on the SHL sign glowed, restoring school. Another riddle appeared. The more of me you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Maya grinned. Footsteps. With that, the MSUM became museum. After solving several riddles, the village seemed brighter, and words returned to many signs. Professor Wordsmith approached them with a small scroll. This scroll contains words the word thief has hidden, he explained. Read them aloud to weaken him. Maya unrolled the scroll and read, Courage. The strength to face danger or difficulty. Trust belief in someone's honesty or reliability. Hope. A feeling of expectation for something good. Remember these words, Professor Wordsmith said. They will protect you in the final confrontation. As they left the village, a dark figure appeared in the distance. It was tall and thin, with glowing red eyes. The word thief. Ben stepped back. Maya is here. Maya held the scroll tightly. We're ready for him. The word thief moved closer, and they could feel the air grow colder. Speak the words, Professor Wordsmith urged from behind. Maya took a deep breath. Courage, trust, hope. Each word sent a ripple through the air, and the word thief began to shrink. No! The word thief growled. Stop speaking those words. Ben grinned. Hope, 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 he shouted. With each repetition, the word thief faded until he was nothing but a shadow that slipped away into the woods. Mr. Lexicon appeared at the village entrance, clapping his hands. Well done, Maya and Ben. You have weakened the word thief's power by strengthening your vocabulary. Maya smiled. We couldn't have done it without Professor Wordsmith and the tree of synonyms. Ben stretched his arms. I feel like I've learned more words today than I have in months. Mr. Lexicon laughed. Words are powerful, and now you know how to protect them. Keep learning, and the word thief will never return. As they left the village, Maya looked at her magical notebook, filled with new words. This was just the beginning of their adventure with language. After the encounter with the word thief, Maya and Ben felt stronger than ever. Their minds were brimming with new words, and their vocabulary had grown beyond what they had imagined possible. But there was one final challenge ahead, one that would test everything they had learned. As they walked through the forest, following a path that appeared only after their victory over the word thief, they came across a massive stone door. It stood tall and imposing, covered in symbols and strange writing. This is it, Maya said, her voice filled with excitement. The labyrinth of lost meanings. I have heard of it. Ben looked up at the door, clearly anxious. And what happens inside? Maya opened the magical notebook. It said that the labyrinth is full of words that have lost their meaning over time. We must find a way to restore them and then escape. The door creaked open, revealing a dark hallway ahead. As they stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind them, and a voice echoed through the labyrinth. Welcome, seekers of knowledge. To leave this place, you must restore the meaning of lost words. Fail, and you will be trapped forever. Ben gulped. No pressure, right? Maya smiled nervously. We have faced worse. Let's go. The first room of the labyrinth was lined with dusty bookshelves. At the center, a glowing pedestal held an ancient book. Maya stepped forward and opened it. The first word written inside was mellifluous. Ben scratched his head. I have never seen that one before. Maya flipped through the notebook, finding the definition. It means sweet-sounding, like a pleasant melody. She spoke the word aloud, and the book in front of her shone brightly. The glowing pedestal brightened, and the first book on the shelf opened. Suddenly, the voice echoed again. One word restored. But beware, not all words are as easy. They continued through the labyrinth, solving more puzzles. Each word they restored had a meaning that was either strange or forgotten. There was ephemeral, meaning short-lived, and serendipity, meaning a happy accident. As each word was spoken aloud, the walls of the labyrinth began to light up, revealing hidden passages. After hours of solving riddles and speaking new words aloud, Maya and Ben reached the deepest part of the labyrinth. At the end of the winding corridor stood a final door, adorned with a single word carved into the stone: eloquence. Maya felt a sense of awe. Eloquence, the art of speaking beautifully and persuasively. Ben nodded. This must be the final challenge. As Maya stepped forward, the door creaked open slowly. They walked through, and the room was unlike any they had seen before. It was filled with floating orbs, each one carrying a word. At the center of the room stood a large pedestal with one final orb, glowing brightly. The voice spoke again. To escape the labyrinth, you must speak eloquently. Use the words you have learned and weave them into a story that demonstrates your understanding. Fail, and you will be trapped forever. Maya and Ben exchanged glances. They knew this was their final test. Maya took a deep breath and began, speaking with clarity and purpose. Once upon a time, in a faraway village, there was a young woman named Amina. She lived a life that was as ephemeral as the wind, always fleeting and changing. But one day, Amina found a hidden garden where the flowers bloomed in the most mellifluous harmony. The birds would sing songs that were like sweet melodies, and the air was filled with the serendipity of chance. In this garden, Amina learned the art of eloquence. She spoke with such beauty that everyone who heard her was entranced. Her words were not just words, they were a magic of their own. She spoke with courage, hope, and trust in her heart. And with each word she spoke, the world around her grew brighter, more meaningful, more alive. One day, the word thief came to the garden. He wanted to take Amina's words and make them his own. But Amina, with the power of language, stood firm. She spoke the words she had learned, and the word thief could not steal them. For the more words she spoke, the stronger she became. As Maya spoke, the orbs began to glow brighter, and the walls of the labyrinth trembled. Ben stepped forward, his voice joining hers. Amina, with her newfound wisdom, used her words to restore the balance of the world. She understood that words were not just tools, they were the very essence of life. They could heal, they could build, and they could create. As they finished the story, the room erupted in light. The door at the far end opened, and they stepped through, finally out of the labyrinth. The voice echoed one last time. You have done it. The labyrinth has no more power over you. You have restored the lost meanings of words and demonstrated the power of eloquence. You are free to leave. Maya and Ben found themselves back in the peaceful meadow where their adventure had begun. The world felt different now, more vibrant, more alive. Their minds were filled with new words, and their understanding of language had deepened in ways they had never imagined. As they walked back toward their village, Maya looked at Ben. We did it. We learned so many new words and discovered how powerful they can be. Ben nodded. I never thought words could be so important. But now I understand. They connect us, they protect us, and they shape the world around us. Maya smiled, feeling the weight of everything they had experienced. And now, we have the power to use them wisely. As they made their way home, Maya knew that their journey was far from over. There would always be more words to learn, more stories to tell. And with each word, they would continue to shape the world, one story at a time. This marks the conclusion of our story, and I hope that you have not only enjoyed the adventure, but also discovered the power of words and their ability to transform our lives and our understanding of the world. Keep exploring new words, because with each one you learn, you unlock a new piece of the world around you.